Welcome. So today we will discuss about the coding part, also little bit detailing regarding a Python project, right? Which is basically based on the machine learning. So boom, we have to be excited just after seeing this picture, lots of questions arise in my mind, like what is this, why this is Harry Potter, why he's showing invisible. So yeah, it is something magical, I can say. Like, I knew everybody watched Harry Potter movie, and I'm also a big fan of that movie. My childhood is so obvious. I want a cloth in my wardrobe so that I can wear it and make invisible myself. Yeah, everybody wants my folk. So why can't we do this like via Python code? Can we do this? Let's start. Alright, so what is the perspective to design? Like, what I think of making this project, and I thought it's exciting. Actually, while I was searching my project for my AI course duration. So I thought my teammate said to me that it is a little bit difficult. This project is difficult. We just move forward and search something better. So I said to her, why not? We can do this. Let's try. Nothing can be already cooked. Sometimes we have to prepare our meal myself, right? So for that reason, let's start to know the perspective as the cloak be a magic and invisible inside Harry Potter mold. As we all knew, there is no magic at all, right? Possibly it's a science fiction, we can say. What is the concept behind this magic? Let's see. Invisibility is a fusion of science fantasy and collective imagination. We can say. Although I tried to make my invisible cloak via Python code, so curiosity high to see how it's happening. So this is the architecture you are seeing in the screen. Just watch it carefully, okay? So what we are doing, like if we forward some projects in front of our senior, so we have to provide some architecture, some blueprint of our project, what we can do, so that I can say it is a blueprint. Yeah. So we will import our libraries of Python, then capturing and store the background frame. Then what we'll do, setting the values for the cloak and mask, and then replacing cloak portion with masking image in each frame. And boom, magic. Like you will be invisible. Actually, the basic part of this architecture is clothing. Like which color we will choose to do this masking, right? So we can only use three colors because we need highly saturated colors. All right, so what will be that? That is RGB, red, green, blue. These all are highly saturated colors, or the less saturated we can say like pink, baby pink, orange, white, or we can say yellow, hmm? Lots of etc etc. So what I will choose, actually red is my favorite color, so I'll go with the red color, and you can choose something else like green or blue. Hmm? Let's come to the next slide. Alright, so what was the project prerequisites? Python version 3.x I'm using here, or above you can use what is recently working, and NumPy I'll use, then OpenCV, selected ID, means selection of ID for project as per your choice. We are using PyCharm, and it is also works on VS Code, right? I don't think so it will work in collab because I tried, but I think it doesn't work. It didn't work there. So for deployment of our project, we will use GitHub. Actually, PyCharm is also a best development team. So these all are the IDE selection and what libraries we will use, that the project prerequisites. Right now, let's start understanding how it's working practically. As I have told that what is the basic needs or basic requirements, that is clothing. So we need to choose a highly saturated color cloth, and I'll choose red as my favorite, although you can choose any from your wardrobe to make yourself invisible for, that is red, green or blue, RGB, because these are highly saturated. As I have already told you, for the background, to ensure our background doesn't contain any red color, because if the background contains that color, then it will cause problem. Alright, now let's start coding. We will import the libraries. We'll import NumPy as NP and then TensorFlow. Although you will check it in my GitHub, I will upload that coding part. I'm just explaining here. So NumPy is very strong library, as you knew, in mathematical way. So we'll use CV. To why we are using computer version, just because for the live image we will show there, so we will use the computer version. So the next formula will be cap is equal to cv2.video capture 0, recording and catching the background for each frame, right? Cap I'm using time sleeping 2 and background equal to 0. So capturing background for I range 50 I'm giving. I have used for function for range in Python, right? Red background cap dot read. So read every frame and convert the BGR, that is HSV, high saturated value, values for cloak, mask, and here we're using morphological transformation to remove the noise from the cloak. Alright, so we'll discuss. So let's start. our coding part, as we are importing the numpy, CV2 and import time. As replace the red pixels or underside area with red background pixels to generate the invisibility feature. And here we will use the hue. This channel encodes color information. Hue can be thought of an angle where 0 degree corresponds to the red color and 120 degrees corresponds to the green color and 240 degree corresponds to the blue color. Then saturation, this channel encodes the intensity or purity of color, right? For example, pink is less saturated than red, as I have told earlier. Now value, this channel encodes the brightness of color. Shading and gloss components of an image appear in this channel reading the video capture video. As you're saying, capture video is equal to cv2.video capture, right? Now here we will use while function. That cap is opened, right? Red img is equal to cap dot read. If not red, break, means we are using while loop, then if function we are using, and then break. Then hsv is equal to cv2.cvt color. There we will take img image, that's cv2 color, bgr to hsv, right? It is for color coding. Then lower red and upper red we will take it, np dot array from 0 1 20 70. I told the range. Then upper red 10 to 55 to 55, means once we'll do the coding. So let's start with the while loop. Why we are using it is used for again that function will be run inside that code, but we have used if function, like there is any condition required, right? If means if this condition is possible, but we correlate it with our daily life, like if I'm your friend, then only I can eat you banana or apple, right? But there's also means there's a condition. If I'm your friend, we are not using here else, so there's not else condition like else I leave or not, else I will not so eat that banana. No, this we having break function, right? So break is also a condition, like if is not done, if you are not my friend, then the break function will work here, and that hsv is equal to cv2 dot color. If condition is not satisfied, then we will break our function and move forward, not as per statement. Here we have used numpy array function. Then we will use the masking for lower red or upper red. We will set the background or foreground, right? And then we'll replace the clock region with the background delegatory. Now need such sections of mainframe in which the clock is absent. To achieve noise-free clock, simply transpose the mask and repeat again similar instructions. So what basically we are doing here, we are using the morphological function for the background remover, noise remover we are using here. As I have told you, it is very important functions that we are using nowadays in the clinical things, like in our hospitalities, right? During the operations it is using, like machines are doing the operation. As we all knew how AI go far, so just listen carefully what is morphological transformation, how it is working, because I have explained that what we are doing, we will select the cloth and we will set the video capture. When it will start, we will use the while loop functions and break function. Like first it will capture the background, means our video will capture the background, then it will capture the next with the highly saturated color like red I'm using here. And what after that, it will give us the both, like it will remove that red part and it will provide us with the background and that remaining part without red color. Alright, so that will be our output we are getting here. So for that reason we are using that function, that lower red and upper red, using numpy libraries. Then we are doing masking, mask 1, mask 2 functions, and then we will combine those. Like I've told now, first we will capture the background, then foreground, and then we will combine it and we'll get the output. Then after that, what happened, we have to remove the noise. Like there's some errors we can see, so blur kind of images will appear with our results. So we need hypertuning. So here what hypertuning is said to be, that is morphological transformation. So what it is basically, let's understand. Morphology is a broad set of image processing operations that process binary like 0 to 255 images based on the structuring element or kernels, which decides the nature of operation, right? That will decide our nature of operation. Morphological operation, each pixels in the images is adjusted based on the value of other pixels in its neighborhood. Means what kind of our neighborhood, so it will adjust it. Kernel in ML is used to address the non-linearity present in the data set. Like if any black pixels in neighborhood, then what it is happen, if there, and there will be erosion that removal side pixels to 55 or 0, and in black converted white erode. Means these all are the part of the morphological transformation. There are 6 to 7. First one is erosion, then dilation, then opening, then closing, then gradient, then blackhead, then whitehead, right? So blackhead and whitehead basically used in astronomical operations, like while we our astronauts click the images, or our satellite clicks the images, they forward to the ISRO for the NASA, such kind of organization, and they will do that morphological operation on that image so that it will look the clear without noise, like some blurry spaces, some white noise, some black noise. So for that reason they are using. That's why I told you that morphological transformation is very important, so you have to listen it carefully, right? So what erosion means, it is removing the black noise and convert it into white. And dilation, opposite of erosion. And what is erosion, that I have told. It at least one pixel is 255 under column, means it is taking basically their neighborhood. Like in erosion set pixels, if they are having 10 values pixels, and in black converted white erode, taking the near one of the, like dilation, at least one pixel is 255 under the corner. Hmm? Open outer noise. Erosion followed by the dilation, that is noise removal. closing, inner noise, dilation followed by erosion, filling patches, object mass, foreground. Right? So erosion primarily involves eroding the outer surface, that is the foreground of the image, as binary images only certain 2 pixels, that is 0 and 255. It primarily involves eroding the foreground of the image, and it is suggested to have the back foreground as white. Thickness of the erosion depends on the size and shape of the defined kernel. Right, as we can make use of the numpy's one's function to define the kernel. There are a lot of other functions like numpy0, customize kernels, and others that can be used to define the kernels based on the problem in hand. Like next one will be the dilation, involves dilating the outer surface, that foreground of the image, as binary images only contain 2 pixels, 0 and 255. It primarily involves the expanding the foreground of the image, right, and it's suggested to have the foreground as white. The thickness of the erosion depends on the size and shape of the defined kernel. We can make use of numpy's ones function to define a kernel, and it can be used to define the kernel based on the problem. As I have told you earlier, it is just opposite to the erosion operation. As we are using img kernel np.1 c3 np.unit, then we are inverting the image, that width by not function we are using, then dilation we are using dilate functions, so the output with the thicker image than the original one, right. And what is the opening function? Involves erosion followed the dilation in the outer surface, the foreground of the image. All the above set constants for the erosion and dilation he applies here. It is blend of two prime methods. It is generally used to remove the noise in the image, right. Then we have to use the morphology X function, opening and closing we are using. So closing involves dilation followed by the erosion in the outer surface, the foreground of the image. All the above set constants for erosion and dilation applies here. It is blend of the two prime methods. It is generally used to remove the noise in the image. Morphological gradient. Actually, part by part, I'm also explaining the types of the morphological transformation. So just listen carefully. What is morphological gradient? It is slightly different than the other operations because the morphological gradient first applies erosion and dilation individually on the image and then computes the difference between the eroded and dilated image. Output will be the outline of the given image, right. And do I need to explain the top hat or that black hat? Okay, if the thing arises, let's in short I'll explain that top hat is yet another morphological operation where opening is performed the binary images and output of the operation is difference between the input image and the opened images, right. So that the actually we'll do some coding of black hat or white hat, then we will show it later. So black hat operations used to do the opposite, enhancing dark objects of interest on bright background. output of this operation is difference between the closing of the input image and that input image, right? So the output will be the dark black, hmm? Because it focus on the black area, right? So let's come back to the coding part. Now as you're seeing that slides mask 1, mask 2, we are adding our functions, then we removing the noise. As I have stated earlier, I have explained it in detail, so I think there's no need to explain. I have also explained the bitwise function and the final output here. cv2.add weighted res1 and res2 10. Then cv2.im show that invisible cloak. Final output we will check it out. Okay, cv2.wait key 10 for 10 seconds. I will wait to capture if k is equal to 27, and this is the limit, so it will break. Then cap.release to destroy cap2 to destroy all windows. So if user want to quit the program, they can press escape key. 27 is the code for A, right? Important note, go for when you try to run this program, wait for 2 seconds to capture. Alright, capture the frame, the background, so try not to be in the frame in the first 2 seconds. Then you can simply test your project. So this is the result as I have the right tree shot. So it is all blur and only background is coming. So yeah, it's a result finally we are getting, means our code has run as I'm stating it in the that PPT, and that's why we didn't code, but yeah, for further future we'll do coding right. So this is the result. I'm so happy, and I think you all are very excited to do this coding so that you can also make yourself invisible. Go ahead, all the best. You'll definitely enjoy this, because while I was doing this coding, I enjoyed it, although I suffered a lot because some of the part was not working during my coding part. So I was so tensed. What will happen next? What will happen next? So we'll try some course, replace the course, checking the Googles, and lots of frustration. And finally, when the result came, it's like, you know, peak of excitement showing. So just feel it via Python code. So what is the output of machine learning project? As in the above machine learning project, we delicately generated invisible cloak via OpenCV technology using Python code. We accomplished image segmentation and color detection technique of AI, right? Here in computer vision project, we acquire knowledge regarding morphological operations, masking techniques, and the types of morphological operations we have learned, and how it is useful and important for the, I think, neurons, cancerized neurons, that morphological transformation is working, because nowadays researchers are working. And I think after as per my knowledge, as researching where it is using, I think in Cedar, Pune, and the government, they are working on that cancerized neurons in our brain, like brain tumor. So they are using that operation of invisible cloak, like morphological transformation. They are trying to make it happen so that they can remove the brain tumor via sending this coding to make it invisible, to damage the cells, cancerous cells. So it is under research right now. It is not published, so I can't say anything, just as per my research on the Googles and something I heard. So what is the conclusion and future scope? In this project, we have implemented simple masking techniques and morphological operations to get the color growth out of the frame, and instead of that, we are showing the background. OpenSea is the vast field and has many practical applications available in the industry, like object detection. As if you're working on the your office, you can see the face recognition technique also used in the airports generally, or the hand thumb impression. These are all the project of OpenSea, mostly used in the companies. The name of AI and computer vision for developing the surveillance systems to keep track of criminal activities, also used in roadside traffic maintenance, I think. Another reason for is useful is execution speed and efficiency as compared to other image processing libraries. High. Once we dive into it, it will open the way for many innovative ideas and fun projects. Like you can control a racing game and gloves in your hand, or else you can be invisible in your online video classrooms and many more. Although if there's requirement, then don't do this for classroom. I'm strictly telling you. So it will not be the real cloak, but some graphical tricks with OpenCV and Python to make things invisible in front of the camera based on color detection and color segmentation techniques. The same has been done for Android camera using OpenCV and Python. And I think this technology is also, after some time, Apple will provide, or it has already provided, I don't know, but I heard from some sources, like from articles and blogs. So and what is the, don't you have any question arises in mind, like maybe they're having some, or like area, some disadvantage you can say? So this is the distance. Actually in the satellite, that invisible cloak technology, they are trying to use it, but due to the distance, because it is like, if sunlight appears on that thing, then it will be disclosed in front of everyone, like the secret opens in the right. It is something like that. So the distance, wavelength is very important thing. How much distance you from your camera, or wavelength, right? This is, I think, disadvantage. Yeah. All right. Although we have lots of fun while doing these projects, and I enjoyed a lot, I think after listening this PPT you will also enjoy it. And while doing coding, when you most importantly enjoy the things, well, it's happening in real, right? Like real event. So while you will do the coding part, if any query arises, kindly connect with me, mention it on the comment box, or direct me in LinkedIn or something. In my website you can visit and contact me, then I'll help you out for reducing that errors. All right, so don't be hesitant to do this coding, and once in a lifetime you must have to do this. Yeah, great.